Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Ellen. So I know everyone gets bogged down when they're trying to paint something simple, but really it's just a couple of steps when you want to paint a sweet and simple bouquet or floral, and I break it down for you. So we're doing simple daisies and cornflowers today, mixed together. And I'll show you with just two brushes that I create this simple little bouquet, this little composition. It's not that difficult, it's really simple. Just using like a skinny brush for the stems, a little bit bigger brush for the petals. And really any beginner can do this, and any advanced painter can do this and play with this a little more with the composition, etc., and get more detailed if they want to do detail. But I love the loose style of this. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comment section. Let me know if you like to paint loose florals. Not everybody does, but sometimes I like to put them out there, as you know. Also check out my Patreon. I have ad-free videos, traceables, exclusive tutorials, and a live stream in the top tier. It's just a place people go and support my channel. I also added a Facebook group, which is really great. We have weekly challenges. I give monthly giveaways over there in the Facebook group, and you can see it all in the description. There's a link in my description right after I write what the description of the video is. It used to be a little blurb up top here, but everyone keeps saying that they can't see it. So just please click on the link in the description box of Patreon, and then you can go to Patreon and check out what I have to offer there. So without further ado, let's get painting some daisies and cornflowers. Okay, so for this tutorial, let's go over my supplies. I'm using the Fabriano bright white cold press block. It's 100% cotton, cold press. All these supplies are in my description. There's a link there that says shop my supplies. I'll be using Princeton 12 long round aqua elite, number 8 long round velvet touch series. And we're just gonna be painting really loose like daisies and cornflowers. So cornflowers, I'll just show you, leave the brush. I've mixed up some colors here. This is basically ultramarine blue, and this one is this verditer blue, which is really beautiful, from Holbein. You just lighten that up. And you know, I think of a cornflower, they have like these little V spikes and then kind of attached like this. Right? Get a little purple, look at purple color in the middle. So I'm going to take some ultramarine blue, maybe magenta, or some of this pink here. And maybe magenta. It's kind of dirty, so it's making like a brown blue, but you can kind of get a little darker in there. But I would just use a deeper blue. I wouldn't get crazy. You can just take some ultramarine blue in there and bleed that. But it's just like this V. Squiggle, squiggle. See? Up and down like this and connect them. We're just going to do something like that, really loose. And you can make it an ultramarine blue or verditer blue and mix the colors, right? For a daisy, you can use this brush, the smaller brush. There's many ways to pick a daisy. I'm going to pick gray. Just like little loops like this. Swoop and loop. And then you go and add your yellow center. Or we can go orange. You can see that. Or we can paint like real petals. And you can also make daisies just by pushing the brush. See, I'm using like a light, this is Paynes gray. You can use more of a beige color if you want to. Just pushing the color, connecting it like this, and then we'll have the center. So two different ways to do daisy, and that's how we do the cornflower, and then of course leaves and stems. So how do we put it all together? Sometimes you can have a plan, sometimes I'd like not to have a plan. I kind of just sketched out where I want to start with some daisies. I like to start off with a little sketching area, and then I'll go in and I'll just kind of paint everything. So I'm going to use Paynes gray, and like I said, I have a little burnt umber down here. Make like a beigey gray tone if I'm going to use that for the daisies. And for the yellow center, my yellow's looking a little green over here. I'm going to move over here. Going to add a little, this is cadmium red light, orange, and then yellow here. Boom. So I got all my colors ready to go. I'm using the big one first, and let's play around with some daisies. So again, you can just kind of like loosely indicate the petals. I'm not really, see, with the gray, because they're white. The only way you're going to see them white, you can make them more bluish if you want, is if you paint the background, right? like the negative space. But this one I'm doing positive space, so you have to make it a color in a way. You can add a little blue to it. See, make it more blue and just kind of outlining it. Or you can kind of fill it in if you want to. A little gray to have them white daisies. It's up to you. So I've got like 3. I'll start off with 3. Like I said, here's the open scenario. You're just kind of going like this with your brush. Open, daisy, swooping. See? Simple, gray. And then you can go in and add your yellow center. We're just making this simple and fun. And you have to figure out your composition. I like to do things in like 3s, odd numbers. So I'll have the daisies here, and I'll start to play around with adding some cornflowers. Maybe up in here, like one in the middle here. Something's got to go in the middle, right? So here we're doing that V technique I showed you and connecting them. That could just be kind of looking that way, or you can have it more like facing downward. Really kind of loose. And it doesn't have to be cornflower. It can be any color flower, but I just think the yellows and the blues are kind of pretty. And I'll put something up here, kind of facing upward. They have where they connect to the stem. It can be like a little ball. I'll show you that in a second. So this right here can be these little bees. See, little bees. And then we take our green. We haven't mixed the green yet, so I could use peacock blue with some yellow, make like a nice green, a bright green. And I'll be using number 2. Loosen that up. So it's like a little ball. Maybe a little brown on it. It's attached. And then you drag the stem down from there. See? A little ball. We'll do the stems in a bit. I like to do the flowers first and then add the stems. You know, that's how I'm going to proceed with this one. So I'm using ultramarine blue. I have that verditer blue too, so they're both pretty. We'll just start playing with the cornflowers. See? In different positions. That one's a little open on the side this way. Put some more up in here. It's just like this back and forth motion with your brush and really just tippy tapping on the paper. People really push down too hard on their brushes. You just really just lightly, gliding on the paper. You just want to glide. Just back and forth, glide, leaving some openness. If you want to tap in a little bit deeper color, go right ahead. In the center, this is still kind of wet. I'm just grabbing some ultramarine blue and tapping in that deeper color right in the center area here. I see I'm building all my beautiful little flowers. I'm going to put a couple bunching in here. It's just kind of delicate. And they're kind of similar in size to the daisy. You know, sometimes you like to have things bigger and smaller, but I think they're a little similar in size. And here I'm just tapping in that blue. I'm going to grab my verditer blue. And put one over in here. Just like so. It's like I said, the simple back and forth. And you can kind of branch it out a little bit bigger. See, we're getting somewhere. So at this point, I'm going to add some more daisies. I think I'm going to have some here. Just putting them on there. Maybe I'll have some more coming down this way. And they're kind of different from the other ones up top. And you can have much tinier daisies if you want. I'll put another one over here. It's up to you. You know, you can keep the whole bunch, fill the whole page if you want, or just do a few. And I think I'm going to have and the cornflower up top. Up here. And I'm going to start to play with adding my greens in a bit. Like I said, I want to wait. Kind of want to fill in where I have all the florals. I have another one kind of coming down here, bending downward. All right, and as you see, I'm like now just kind of moving this way, and I can see a big gap in here. Now I can either fill it in or it can be mostly green or blues. But I'm going to do a mixture of some daisies and then I'll add the greens. Grabbing that ultramarine blue. And then put another daisy in there. Oop, that's a little too dark. It happens. Got to really water that down. The consistency should be like almost like water tea. I'm putting one more daisy in here. And then I'll start to play with greens. I'm going to put another daisy in here. I'm not quite done with my daisies yet. And I want one that's kind of like just, you only see the top. You got to play around with that. And then you're adding the yellow, but if it mashes into your other color and starts to bleed, that's fine. Kind of a nice little touch to it when you do that. If it's still wet. These ones are not wet. That one's wet. So you're getting the feel of the sweet little daisies and the cornflowers. All right, so I have my green. I'm going to mix up some more greens. The blue with the yellow. A little burnt umber. Just want to tone this green down. I don't want it super... So now at this point I'm going to grab my Princeton 8 long round because the 12 is kind of getting too wide. And that's what happens when it gets worn down too much. And I'm going to start to play with adding the stems. Remember, you want to bring them down from where they are. Right? Going to go back and some more color here. Here we go. Thicker paint. It was looking too thin. And then, of course, I'm going to crisscross a lot of these. See, kind of moving through inside. We haven't done any leaves yet. I'll work on that in a second. And it's really kind of light in the area. I might go back and add some more greens. And different types of greens. So it doesn't have to be just all flowers. It's going right up in there. And these ones are bending, coming down this way, bending, coming down this way. See? And I can grab some greens that go up through and up in here. Like some blooms that haven't opened. Right? A little bud. Let's put some buds. Just going in here, adding some buds. It's a little ball on top of a little stem. Maybe that looks a little goofy. Put some little leaves off of it. Put another one up there. See? Now it's looking like this kind of motion this way. And then you just start to fill it in. Grabbing some paint here. The daisy leaves, they're kind of like those wiggle leaves. We don't have to go super wide with these. We can just kind of play around with adding in, just kind of just wiggling the leaf. See that? It's a little too chartreusey. I'm going to go back in and add some more peacock blue. Just kind of wiggle that color leaf. Again, taking this brush, wiggle, and have a little point on the end. You don't have to make it like super fancy leaves. Just kind of filling in, pushing down on my side where leaves would be. And we have another one, bend, see, bend, and then kind of wiggle, wiggle, and fill it in. Just really simple. I wanted a simple, sweet floral for today. Don't work too hard. Sometimes just the simpler the better. I'm going in and filling in a little more with the greens here. And you can add a couple more of those little buds. See, and grab some burnt umber, throw that color in there. Put up in here. I think it's really sweet. This guy went a little overboard. You can try and fix it a little bit with the gray or kind of lift up the paint. So here I'm wiggling my brush, trying to lift up the paint, and you grab a paper towel and kind of tap it. If it's dark, you know what? Don't worry about it. These ones are so light. You want to get a little bit darker now. Where it's meeting into the yellow part, I'm adding a deeper gray. Going back in there. Go back over some of the leaf petals that you did. See that? Get a more gray. Kind of in the petals, touching into the center there. And have a little gray on the outer side too. A little bit. Really just want to keep it soft and sweet though, so don't go too crazy. That one's still kind of bugging me. But I like to just go in here and add another deeper value of the gray. Oops. See, my hand had paint on it. If that happens to you, let me tell you something right now. Just grab your paintbrush that's clean with water real fast. Go in there, wiggle it. Go, go, go. Keep wiggling it. Tap paper towel. It's like it never happened. It was all over my hand. So here I'm going to grab my gray again. Go back in and just, that might be too dark. You don't want to go too crazy. And just fill it in. See, just kind of wiggling that paint around. You can kind of swoop out some of the gray into some of the petals. Don't do it everywhere. You want it to have some interest. It's not the same. You don't want everything so symmetrical. You want this asymmetrical. This one might be too much. Remove it. This one bled a lot with the yellow, but it's sweet. I don't mind. A little bit darker, the gray. And you can kind of go in here, like I said, with the long round. If you want to get real technical and do some little wiggles, little lines, see? Going back in here. I'm fixing it. Depends on how you want it to look. See, go in here. You try not to do every single petal. Just like I said, it ends up being too symmetrical, too overworked. Just a few of these pretty ones. I go back in here and another darker value. Even on the petals on the outside. That's why you start light and just keep building. You don't want to go full on heavy. And that's really pretty much it. You're just doing the sweet. It's the color combination that I like. See, I messed up when I hit my hand there. Can I fix it? Somewhat. Or I just add like the leaf a little bit bigger. So then you never know the difference, right? Just a simple green. I'm going to add some Prussian blue and yellow. A little deeper. I'm going to go in and add some different color greens. Fill it in a little bit. Get even deeper with the color green. Just kind of pop out the flower a little bit. Just a few. I wouldn't go crazy because I like the way it was looking kind of nice and sweet and light. And that's that. Simple wildflower bouquet that anybody can do. Just simple techniques. You can get your yellows a little bit deeper too. See, that was just a blatant yellow. You go back in with the like a yellow orange, and I kind of go on one side here. And I'll just finagle that a little bit. But that is your little wildflower tutorial. And don't worry about them if they blend and kind of mush into each other. It's kind of the beauty of it. That's what I like about it. That's what I like about doing loose florals. I don't want it to be so tight and constrained. Go back in and add a deeper color in the center here in the middle of your cornflower. I'm just taking some ultramarine blue. Just adding that darker value helps a lot. But that's it. That's my sweet little cornflower daisy bouquet. If you wanted to go and add some, sometimes it's good just to make things kind of floating too. Kind of wiggle. Gonna put some things kind of hanging out here for interest, Don't be afraid to play, because I like to do that all the time. I feel like this guy needs a friend down here, this leaf, so maybe get him a friend or something. Some kind of wiggling scenario, crisscrossing. Much better. All right, there you go. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you have a fantastic day, and take care, and I'll speak to you soon.